Ruthless corporate culture. It's full of fake smiles, malicious gossip, prejudice, gaslighting, and sexual harassment, all covered by a mask of politically correct jargon and endless lists of policies that do more harm than good. How does the gentle and sensitive INFP survive?
So, INFPs versus ruthless corporate culture. How do we survive in that environment? Well, there are three things that can help us if we just kind of keep these three things in mind. First of all, you have to tell yourself, no, you're not imagining things, you are in actual hell. Because a lot of times you'll I know with myself, I just kind of slid into my job and didn't expect it to be so ruthless. I have had other jobs in the past where people were kind to each other. Of course, there's like the one or two toxic personalities who everybody else in the office is kind of like, that person's weird, stay away from them. But all of a sudden you find yourself in a world where it's not just one or two people who are toxic, but it's almost everyone. And it's odd to come across someone who is kind and compassionate and normal. So yeah, you're in an environment where people crush others, where they don't have a moral compass. A lot of people don't have moral compasses. And they kind of use other people as stepping stones to get to where they want to be. And those people who are ruthless like that, they tend to succeed in these big corporate environments. They're the ones who do well, usually, while the people who are more compassionate and who do follow their moral compass, they're not usually as successful because it's not their environment, it's not their world. So I think one of the first things to do is to realize that's where you are now. And I know, like for myself, there's no choice. Like if I want to pay my rent, if I want to pay my bills, I have to stay in this environment for a little bit and then hopefully move on to something better. But I know for a lot of us, it's like that. And it kind of helps to just accept the fact that this is where you are for the time being. It's temporary. Secondly, you'll need boundaries. You'll need to establish boundaries to survive. As much as possible, distance yourself from toxic coworkers. Otherwise, you'll sort of absorb their negativity because this is something INFPs tend to do. We tend to absorb the emotions of the people around us. And when it comes to being around people who are really, really like egotistical and negative and bad, we don't want to absorb that stuff. So, for example, if there's an optional, I don't know, weekend event, like maybe a corporate retreat or maybe the boss has invited people to their house for the weekend or whatever, it's okay to say no. In fact, it's probably healthier to say no because sure, it might be good for your career to show FaceTime, to show up at something outside of work hours, but is it your long-term goal to remain in that job? If it's not, if you don't want to be there for the rest of your life, then why would you do things to support such a goal? Why would you not instead set boundaries for yourself so you don't have to be around that or in that environment any more than necessary? For example, like when we go to the zoo, I know zoos are sometimes really sad because the animals are not treated well, but just as an example, when you go to a zoo and you want to look at the lions, you respect the lions and you're not going to try to move the barrier between you and the lions. You're not going to try to go across the other side of the fence or whatever that separates you from them because you'll get hurt. And it's the same kind of with INFPs. Yes, we have to be in an environment where we can make money to survive, but sometimes these environments are really bad. So instead of getting closer to the source of the problem. We need to learn how to keep work in its place and not let it bleed over into other aspects of our life. Otherwise, we'll just go insane. For example, another example of that might be if a coworker tries to, like if you're at work and a coworker tries to bait you into an argument or a debate, or insult you. One of the best things to do to set a boundary is to ignore them. Just pretend like they're not there. I mean, sometimes you might have to say something, but you can say something that shows you really don't care to engage with them. Something that is tantamount to being like, whatever. Sometimes that can just be saying, okay, or thanks for your perspective, and then moving on to whatever else you've got to do. And I know as INFPs, we tend to dwell on things, but even if we are dwelling on something, we don't have to let other people know that. Because if we let them know, then they will keep doing it again and again and again, because that's how a lot of toxic people work. They find something that they can use to get under your skin, and they use it over and over again. I don't know if they do this intentionally or unintentionally, but that's just what happens. So it's good to establish boundaries to keep those people who make up the toxic work environment in their place, which is in your life. Their place is the job where you go just to get a paycheck. You don't go there for fun. You don't go there because you enjoy it and you want to hang out. You go there just to get a paycheck so you can pay your rent and survive and perhaps fuel your other artistic endeavors so that one day you don't have to go to that place anymore. So why go there on the weekends if you don't have to? Or why hang out with people? Or why expose yourself to more interactions with cutthroat people who are not your friends if you really don't have to? So what I'm trying to do and what I would encourage other INFPs to do is to establish some clear boundaries between work and life. And thirdly, the last point, it's kind of along those same lines, is to focus on your real life, your friends and your family and your hobbies, or that side business that you have, the side hustle that you hope one day is going to be able to cover all of your bills. Focus on that. So that would mean like spending the majority of your time with loyal and trustworthy friends and family, and work on building your empire. Make that your focus. And your empire, that can mean your the online business that you're trying to get started, maybe a YouTube channel that you're trying to nurture. Or speaking of nurturing, it could be a garden at your home that you just really enjoy spending time in. Make that the centerpiece of your life, those things, and not some 9 to 5 job that you do just to make a living, because that's all it is. It might be evil, it might be horrible, but you go there for exactly 8 hours a day, or maybe less, just to support yourself. But the rest of your life is yours. And one day you won't have to go back to that job anymore. So just remember that it's temporary. And, when we take our last breath, we don't want our mind to be on what happened at work or these bad things that happened at our job. We want our mind to go to a positive place, like the memories that we made with friends and family, the fun that we had building our own empire, and engaging in hobbies that we loved. So I guess the point of this is really the whole video really is to focus on living life and enjoying life and not getting sucked into corporate culture, because it's really kind of ridiculous. And you are better than that. You're better than that. I hope that this video, it was a little rambly, but I hope that this video had at least some points that might be helpful to you if you're an INFP or any other personality type, maybe a highly sensitive person too, who is stuck in a corporate environment where you just feel burdened and sad. It's not going to last forever. Thanks for watching. Bye.